Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the coolest things you can do in an early game when you find yourself in a tricky situation. It is the transport ship masterpiece, and it could be the difference between completely getting defeated and having a chance to carry the game. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about while we review this 4v4 Nomad game. Hopping right in, guys. We got a 4v4 Nomad game, and the player in question here is actually my wife. It's VPN Enjoyer, and you know her quite well on the channel. We've played some 2v2s together. But this game in particular was extremely fun. So listen, sit back, relax, grab a snack. I'm going to be covering the entire game for you guys today. I'm going to be showing you guys what you can do if you find yourselves in between multiple opponents on Nomad. Now, Nomad, you start without a TC. So you have to build a town center. And generally speaking, when it comes to like mid-level or high-level Nomad team games, you don't walk around and look for the perfect spot. The perfect spot is usually on the side with your team and, in a comfortable position away from the enemies. But if you walk around and you look for your perfect spot, you're going to be walking around a lot, and that's going to slow down how fast your TC comes up. And that's generally considered extremely inefficient. So instead, what you see is that you just drop your town center on a wood line, the first wood line you see, and then you try to make sense of the game around you and see where you are on the map. However, sometimes you can find yourself in a really bad situation, like VPN Enjoyer in this particular game. So she makes her town center right here, and at first it looks like a decent spot, but she's looking now around, and ooh, the red player is kind of close to her. It's the Spanish player as well. Now she sees the yellow player, the Mongol player, is also very close to her. And so she immediately realizes that she's in a really bad situation. She gets her dock up in the corner, and things are looking okay. But if you look at without the Fog of War as well, the purple player, who's also in the enemy team, is close to her. And down here, there's also the orange player that's, once again, the enemy team. So no matter where she goes, whether she goes, across this area and tries to, like, land over here, orange is nearby, that can easily, swing over and start targeting her. Yellow is really close to her, and if she fights yellow, there's also red that's close to her. And another thing she's going to point out very soon is the fact that she's got no gold and stone to play with. This is extremely difficult, a situation where you're blocked between multiple people and you got no gold or stone to work with. Now let's take a look at her ally positions, because her ally positions will be very important in the winning of this game. Because by herself at the moment, she really can't do a whole lot. And we'll get to her position in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at her allies. So she got teal and gray here that are kind of close and could potentially help her fight red and purple. All right, there's going to be a highly contested area here, both on land and sea, as you can see. And then they've got green way back here, who's probably going to be the carry alongside orange. So green and orange will probably be the long-term carries in this game. At least that's how it's looking like right now. But here's the thing, and going back to VPN Enjoyer's position, if she waits for gray and teal to target these players here and to try to help her find a way out, they would need to absolutely wipe these two players faster than yellow and red can pincer her and take her out. So that's the tricky situation. All right, now that's the gamble. Does she wait and hope that these guys can pull off the push fast enough, or does she find an alternative? Now here's the situation for her at the moment. She's going to see she's got no gold around her. She obviously does not see this one, but even if she did, she can't take it. It's too close to yellow. And she can't take the stone. Why? I mean, she could try to take it, but this is the Spanish player. And if you guys know anything about Spanish players, you know that they're all about the conquistador and the early castle drop. And so red is very likely to contest the stone. And it's also closer to him, so going for the stone and trying to go for a castle is really not the smartest choice from this position. And what's funny is that we're sitting across from each other, of course, and I was doing something else at the moment, but she asked me, yo, I'm in a really tricky situation. I'm in between multiple players. I don't have any gold or stone. What should I do in this position? And the advice that I gave her, which is, generally good advice, is to try to sacrifice yourself to try to take out one of the players. All right? As you can see here, no gold or stone, I'm dead. She's realizing the gravity of the situation. And so my advice was try to take yourself out. Try to either, make a play for the stone, maybe start tower rushing this guy. You're going to die. You will die for sure, but take yourself out and try to slow down some other player. This is generally good advice. Of course, I am a pro player, so I know how to make my way around here. But she comes up with a more clever idea, an idea that lets her, it kind of preserves her in the game and gives her a chance to actually carry without relying on her teammates, which is a really important factor when it comes to team games. You want to rely on your teammates to some extent, but you don't want to roll over and hope they carry you, because if you do that, you're going to have a pretty low win rate. You're going to be only winning games when your teammates can be better than the enemy team. That takes your agency away from the game. So instead, she decides to go ahead and commit to a transport ship. So at this moment, she's getting ready to transport away. And this is the coolest thing ever, because if you look at her position right now, there's 3 players near her, and there's no allies near her whatsoever. So even if she tries to slow down red, for example, fights with the stone, yellow will guaranteed castle drop her, and she will be completely stuck with nowhere to run. And if she waits till feudal age, there'll be no time to transport later because the enemy has water near her as well. This is her dock, this is the enemy 2 docks. And so she's forced to do something that is usually quite a bad thing to do, which is to run all your villagers and start off somewhere else. Normally, that's a really bad thing to do because you have to run a lot of your villagers. You probably have to delete your town center, which is, of course, things that set you far behind. However, in this particular situation, it's actually the 100% correct move. Because like I said, in the best case scenario where she tries to slow down red, she will die to yellow. And if she tries to slow down yellow and fight yellow, then the red player will send conquistadors or maybe even castle her town center and she will die to the red player. So she's dead for sure if she sticks around here. Now, she could, try to delay someone and hope her team carries. But like I said, that removes her agency. So instead, we're going to see the transport ship come out. And this is going to give her a chance to relocate to a more strategic area of the map. And this is the coolest part of this play. She now knows everything about the map. It's not like in the early game where you can relocate and you can walk a lot to try to be near your allies. And then, you could maybe have a decent position, but maybe not because you don't know where everyone is. Now she knows where every player is. She sees the 3 opponents near her, and she also sees orange. So she knows exactly where to transport to be safe from everybody. How cool is that? All the villas are going to run over. Now the transport can carry 20 people, which is a really good change. Shout out the devs. Sometimes they get it right, eh? 20 villagers will just straight up leave this area. And the funniest part about this is that Red will actually see the leaving. He's going to see the exodus, and he'll comment on it a little bit. But as you can see, Red is getting really comfortable around here. Now, she's just going to go ahead and leave, and she's going to take enough wood to make a new town center, of course. And take a look at the position she's going to go into. So there's 2 enemies here, a 3rd enemy here, and of course, Red now comments on it. And she's just going to run towards the top of the map. What's there at the top of the map? Exactly nobody. What she's looking for to the T. This is exactly what she's looking for. Nobody's here. There's tons of resources. There's even boars. There's, chickens. There's berries. There's golden stone in abundance. This is the perfect position to relocate to. Now, unfortunately, she will run past multiple enemy players. And of course, as you can see, she's right in the nick of time. She tried to go for another dock here, but then realized, listen, there's an enemy near me. I'm still in Dark Age. I'm not going to fight for water. She's not going to kid herself. She's optimistic, but not that optimistic. She's not delusional. So she's going to give up the water most likely here. And instead, she's going to focus on her land retransition. Now, here's the thing. She's going to continue making villages from the town center while she can. And she's going to just go over here and try to remake her town center. And then while she does that, she's going to go back and pick up the rest of her villagers. So obviously, she deletes her town center. This is horrible to do in most situations, guys. Don't just think you can relocate Nomad most games and it's like the best strategy. But specifically in this situation, and we'll see later, this is the #1 thing that she can go for. So she relocates here. She's got stone, she's got wood, and of course she doesn't know of everything of this area, but she scouted a little bit. Her team has scouted a little bit as well. And she knows that there's calm, there's peace, there's tranquility. And after a long journey across the sea, that's sometimes all a village needs. So she's going to relocate her town center and start making villagers. Now, here's the thing. She's going to have to lean on her allies now, because now she's virtually out of the game for a little bit. However, she's only out of the game temporarily. In the long term, this is a much better situation. So her allies will now take the reins. They're going to try to help her, get some time to develop and to relocate. But she's no longer in the sticky situation, so she's no longer on a timer. Now she's got time to develop in a safe position. Now we'll take a look at the rest of the players on the team to see exactly what's going on. As you see, Red is really trying to fight anything he can from VPN and Jordan. Takes down a house there as well. But we're going to see a stable come up from the gray player. We're also going to see Castage come through for this Spanish player, so the teal player, who's also going to be going for conquistadors. And they're going to pressure these 2 players. Now, we knew they were going to pressure these 2 players from the start. That's like the optimal play for these guys. However, However, if VPN and Jorah had remained here, they would not be able to push fast enough, and VPN and Jorah would always die. And what the coolest thing that's about this game is that Yellow doesn't really know that she left, and this is the hilarious thing. Now, Red coordinated, Red like talked with his team, and he said, "Listen, player one ran," but I don't think he communicated the extent of the running, because they don't really know that the TC is not here anymore. Like this is what they think is here. This is what's actually here. All right, and Yellow will well, you'll see what he's gonna do. He's gonna do something that's gonna look extremely funny in hindsight, but bless his heart, was actually a good move in the meantime. Take a look at what the teammates are going for right now. Teal will go for a forward castle after Gray's tower rush. And this is absolutely brilliant to try to punish the Vietnamese player. So again, he was in between multiple players, and this is what's happening to him. This is what happens when you don't run. Now, obviously, in Purple's position, he didn't have to run because he's got, teammates near him. Unfortunately, the teammates were quite slow, and so he's going to eat the forward castle. And this is an extremely bad position for him because all of these guys will be raidable for conks, or by conks. Back to Yellow. Once again, bless his heart. 15 villagers. And I wish I can see his face when he realizes there's not even a town center, not even a soul in sight here. So the castle drop that would have been spot on the town center of VPN Enjoyer has now hit an abandoned lumber camp. How cool is that? I truly love this. It's truly the transport masterpiece, because had she not gone for it, she would have gotten defeated. Now that she's gone for it, she's baited out an opponent castle that's in a decent spot, but I mean, it's not really hitting a whole lot, so it's kind of a little bit of a waste as well. It's also very far from the opponents, and he rushed it with 15 villas, which will hurt his economy. So Yellow has been hurt by a phantom. Meanwhile, Blue's over here. VPN Enjoyer is living her best life, calm, and just, developing like normal. And this is the coolest thing about it as well. Because she moved early, now she's in a safe spot, and she's able to develop at her own pace. Whereas Purple, he was forced to move. As you can see, he also lost his town center. He's still in feudal age, but he couldn't move to a safe spot. So he relocates, but he's still getting harassed by conquistadors, and he immediately has a siege workshop in his face. This is typical for Nomad, guys. This is typical for Nomad. If you have a bad start and you get forward castled, normally they chase you around to the depths of Mount Doom to be able to, continue attacking you and not giving you a chance to play the game. I mean, take a look at this. This is misery. This is absolutely pitiful even. He's got to do a mill just to abuse the berries, like he was abused by Teal. It's not a good situation, guys. And then if matters could not get worse, they are in fact getting worse. Teal is siege workshop pushing. Gray has a tower coming up here. And I mean, Purple's just in a really bad spot. Going back to the bottom of the map, now we have a forward castle from the orange player. So he's the carry, like we talked about, because he had a lot of space. So he will be strong. But so will Green. Green fought the water a little bit. He actually won the water and maintained VPN Enjoyer's fishing ships, which is kind of cool. We had given up on that, but, luckily it's been saved. And now he's defending the forward castle, but he's still in a good position because he's got a lot of villagers. So Green, in theory, is a carry position here as long as he doesn't die to the Kipchucks. Keep an eye on him. Going over to VPN Enjoyer now, she's up to Castlage. And listen, it's not the best time ever, but she's got a comfortable game, and she's playing, and she's able to get back in the game. She's got a future ahead of her. It's like the person that, takes her time in her studies, but is scaling towards a really good job. Whereas this guy, just worked a part-time job at a grocery store, skipped school and all kinds of classes, and now he is absolutely poor, and he's getting his town center mangonel. This is a real-world example, all right? And to make matters worse, VPN Enjoyer now has a castle drop up her sleeve, or at least soon. Yeah, soon is pretty much right now. And guess who's eating the castle drop? It's yours truly, the purple player. The purple player that would have been completely destroying her right here, or like contributing to the death of VPN Enjoyer, is now the person dying at her very hands. So quite the turn of the tide here. And now VPN Enjoyer will get a castle to further secure this position of the map. Purple, yeah, again, he's not... Oh my goodness, he's not happy. Just spams a bunch of dots. He's got to run. And this game really shows you the contrast of what would have happened had she not transported versus what her life is with the transport. If she didn't transport, she'd be exactly like Purple, or worse, because she had no place to run. At least Purple has some space that he can run to, that no one is really here to pick off his villagers. Of course, he will get chased down by, the neighborhood crackheads, let's say. The conquistadors will also be on hot pursuit, but it's not like he's running into enemy buildings. There is free space. There is the land of opportunity here, and maybe he'll make something happen. We'll keep an eye on him, but for now, he's homeless and he has to rely on, maybe welfare, maybe his teammates sending him some resources. It's not looking good either way. All right, and now Blue's the lowest score on her team. All right, so again, she's gone through a lot. She's been through a massive journey, but now she's got a castle to secure her position. Maybe she can make some Rathan archers if she wants, or she can go ahead and start adding some town centers. And she's got a ton of space to boom, which is again part of her mission to leave a tight area and go to a place that has extra resources and extra space. And this is exactly what she's going to do. She's going to go for a boom. Meanwhile, going back to the other side of things, we got a ton of fighting here. Of course, Gray and Teal, the combo of a tower rush plus a castle drop, have done significant damage. But now Gray, because of the tower rush, has kept himself in feudal age. And this is normal. You do have some players that like to sacrifice themselves in favor of a tower rush. I did talk about that as a possibility for VPN Enjoyer. But because he did that, he's going to face the consequences. look at Purple. Everywhere I look, I see purple villagers just running around. Poor guy, but here we go. Orange will come here with a forward castle, and he's going to try to punish the player who's stuck in feudal age. And this is really important because if he were to lose his feudal age town center, which he could click up the castle age, but he's just laid on. If he were to lose his town center, he'd be in a tough position because that means he has to remake his town center and then click up the castle age, which will take forever. Meanwhile, Orange is also, microing against some conquistadors up here with some Kipchucks. And he's done some significant damage to Green, but Green has recovered, of course, with 2 castles and plenty of space to boom up in the back of the map. And so if you take a look at the situation now, we now have a position where all members are on the right side of the map. So it's blue, it's gray, it's teal, and it's green on this side of the map, let's say the top half. And then the bottom half has orange, yellow, red, kind of in the same position. And then purple, he's a bit nomadic right now. He's really playing the map. We'll see where he settles, but likely he'll settle behind Orange's base and will defend. Of course, he's begging for resources. He has to make a lumber camp before he can make a town center. Just take a look at how miserable this is, all right? And, if you compare it to Blue's base, despite the early transport, this is looking actually quite happy. She's going to go for a 5 DC boom, while, her teammates and the opponents are fighting it out. So now, she's put herself in the position of the long-term carry. And the short-term carry is going to be green, of course, to the most amount of villagers. But blue has a lot of space here, and the Vietnamese have a deadly late game. So she's going to come out as a really strong late game carry, which is pretty much the best thing she could have hoped for from a game where she started between 3 players. And just taking a look at her initial base, it's pretty depressing. It's a barren wasteland. No one's here. Looks like nobody's ever been here. Okay. The mangonel was randomly placed there. Oh, Mike's gonna lose a lot of villagers. This is so greedy from Mike. Taking the gold that belonged to red. Red actually kind of died here as well, but yellow's gonna have a field day right now. Oh, that's so satisfying. And this is terrible for Mike. Mike's gonna be in a really bad position now. Yeah, he's gonna have to run, but I mean, you're gonna lose a lot of villagers there, buddy. Yeah, and great micro from yellow as well, just to not be complacent, to chase them all down. He could kill them all right now. And this guy. Okay, you kind of left the survivor to tell the tale there. I can respect that as well. And meanwhile, Mike has to run from this position. So again, ton of chaos going around. Mike has to now abandon this area. He is now running towards the back. Where's Mike's villagers, though? That's what I want to know. Got 26 of them. I can't even see his town center at the moment. Okay, he's made it here. Alright, so he's taking kind of Purple's old base behind the defense of Teal's castle and kind of in the neighborhood of VPN Enjoyer right now. And he's going to be clicking up to the castle edge. And meanwhile, I mean, the game continues. The game will develop. Both teams rather, will, develop their economies, continue to fight for space in the middle of the map. And that's typically how these Nomad games play out. Now, you have players of different power levels. As you can see, Purple is completely out of the game. But then the other 3 players are doing pretty well. Mike is kind of dead, but not out of the game. He's still playing. He's got a decent amount of villagers. Let's say 18 with a town center. Purple has 9 without a town center. Just a lumber camp. So Mike is dead, but he's a lot less dead than the enemy dead player. So advantage for VPN Enjoyer's team at the moment. But I mean, it's not set in stone. Because, The yellow player can easily carry, the orange player can easily carry, and things could get difficult here. And by the way, I didn't mention it to this point, but oh my goodness, the Manga that dying to the Kong super hard there. But now the Kipchucks are kind of unanswered. There's some Rathan Archers on the field, so VP Enjoyer is trying to help her teammates a little bit right now. She's on a 6 Town Center boom. She's going to quickly skyrocket to the carry of the game, to the highest field count player, which is important. And I think that's the right choice, by the way. Had she gone here and she started spamming military, I think it would have defeated the purpose of coming to a place with a lot of space. So going for a big boom is the best way for her to utilize all of these extra resources, because the more villagers she has, the more of the resources she can take, and then the more she can help her allies later on, which is 100% the correct call here. I feel like a lot of players on Nomad tend to rush things and start spamming military, but kind of forget about the late game situation. But some Rathan Archers now to, of course, control the ground and not lose too much space to enemy castle drops or to enemy pushes. On the right side, we now have Green, and Green will be the early carry, as of course he's had the highest fill count for the longest time, and he's gonna hit Imperial Age first, and he's gonna have a really good chance to push back against Orange. And actually, the Italians hard counted the Cumans as well. It must be mentioned. It's a very tricky matchup, to be honest. It's not the kind of thing that like Cumans have a chance. No, Cumans should have absolutely no chance, and quite a massacre there as Green will deny that castle. And Purple, oh my goodness, how is Purple? I mean, to be honest, I don't want to victim blame him, but I will victim blame him. Why the hell are you rebuilding here in the middle of a battlefield? What the hell's wrong with you, Purple? The land of the free is down here. This is where he had to be. He had to go all the way to the corner, like VPN Enjoyer did, and just rebuild, because now what's going to happen, he's going to rebuild. He has a town center. He's going to have to run again, because Green is knocking on his neighbor's door. And he's next, unfortunately. So we'll keep an eye on Purple, but huge mistake from him there to not just go to the corner and rebuild slowly at his own pace. Now we see Blue, VPN Enjoyer up to the Imperial Age as well. Going to go Rathan Archers opening. But of course, as Vietnamese, you got Fire Lancers, you got Elephants, you got Halbs. You got all the options in late game. It's a very strong carry civ, actually. And Yellow is also up to Imperial Age, who's playing as the Mongols, which is once again another strong carry civ. So, carry civs on both sides. I mean, the game is neck and neck. And sorry, I wanted to comment on this earlier, but I forgot. The ELO of this game is around 1700. It's quite a solid mid ELO, even closing in on like high ELO team game. It's quite competitive, basically, is what I'm trying to say. This is not like a low ELO game. The people here know what they're doing, and they're not professionals. There's going to be some mistakes and whatnot, but overall, the level of the game is quite solid. VP Enjoy will now continue to take some space. This is, again, another good move from her. And I don't want to glaze too hard, of course. So we will point out some mistakes that she makes, if there are any. So far, it's been pretty good, though. I'm not going to lie. It's been her comfort zone. She likes to boom up and have a lot of space to herself. So definitely her comfort zone. And she's going to go for a castle right here to take some space. And this is perfect. This is exactly what you want to do. Take the hills, take the resources, and control the game. Now, if I can be a little bit... point out maybe a small mistake. I think she should be a bit more active with her army. Now that she's in the power position, she's up to Imperial Age, I think now it's go time. She's got to go really fast and try to punish her opponents who are now in an age or multiple ages behind. Going back to... Oh, God. It's too much. It's too much. What started out as a VPN Enjoyer replay, as a transport ship masterpiece, has turned into one of the most depressing sights ever in Age of Empires 2. A player... Are you dense, my friend? What the hell is going on? Sorry, again, I'm victim blaming. I realize that. But I mean, why would you rebuild your town center here? VPN Enjoyer's coming in. And these are elite Rathan Archers. And I mean, Purple, you gotta blame him. You gotta blame him. Like, what is he expecting to get out of this relocation? He had to run all the way here, go all the way back, and relocate. In the corner, there's tons of space. There's tons of space in the corner. This is not the way, and... He's getting pincered already, and it really is hard to feel bad for him. Like, I feel bad for him in the sense that I feel bad for anybody that's in this position, but I don't feel bad. Yeah, again, it's your fault. It's his fault. I don't feel bad for him because I think it's avoidable. And, oh my goodness, the archers are killing the town center. That's like salt on the wound. That's a bit disrespectful. Like, you don't even need siege for him anymore. And now we're seeing, more castles being dropped down. So this is great, in fact. I think VP and Enjoyer are taking the time here to just make sure this guy's dead. It's actually a good use of her time. Now, a lot of players think, okay, this guy's already dead, move on. But in my opinion, if you can defeat a player, and this is all he has, by the way, 15 villagers. If you can defeat a player, it's well worth your time. Unfortunately, VP and Enjoyer got a little complacent there. Oh, you gotta chase these vills. Wait, she's doing it now. This guy could get defeated entirely. He's running towards Orange, who's being trapped down currently. So again, Elite Wrath is... VP and Enjoyer is now a late game powerhouse. She won't kill all the vills though. He gets away barely. Barely gets away there. But if you are able to kill all the vills, he will get defeated, and that's a huge advantage actually for your team. So like, you don't want to beat a dead horse all the time, but sometimes if you can kill the horse entirely, you want to beat it 100%. I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. But this guy, of course, broken mental. He's already calling the GG, so he's in a bad spot. And now VP and Enjoyer will start pressuring onto Orange, who was the strongest player for a long time. And the only person that's actually putting up some resistance now, as Orange is kind of, faltering a little bit. He's up to Imp, but he's, a little bit further behind. He's getting pushed by Green. He's getting cleared up here by Blue. But Yellow is very strong. Yellow had pretty much all this map. And again, this is where VP and Enjoyer started. So just to show you, that place is getting, used up. But Yellow is really strong. And he's taking a lot of villages from Teal. Could start pressuring into Blue's base. And take a look at the minimap. There's quite a lot of Blue up here now. She's kind of taken this area and made it her own. But I mean, this is super difficult to hold off. We got Paper Money Thumb Ring coming in. Just full upgrades coming in for the late game Vietnamese. And she probably has to send some Rathan Archers here to take out these Mangadai. But so far she's focusing firstly on the push, which I think is the right call. Because I think you want to, push if you're the strongest player. You don't want to be sitting back and defending. And she does have some castles to defend, which is not bad. And Yellow will be forced to run away. Tons of action all over the place. Of course, 4v4s can be difficult to follow along. But hopefully with my commentary, you guys are keeping up nice and easily here. Now, Gray's in a position where he's also getting trapped from Yellow. So there's a lot of, again, Gray had a nice position to reboom here, but he's been caught out, and he's going to die once again. He's got 35 villages only. So if anything, this game is a lesson to, if you're going to run, you have to run far. Now Gray at least has a position far on the map. And finally, Purple, you make the mistake once, you make it twice, you make it 3 times, but 4th time's the charm, guys. He's going to relocate here. Finally, a Townsend in the corner. And it's not even a good corner because there's no gold and stone, but at least it's a safe corner, so he'll be getting back in the game. But of course, 46 minutes in, to be on 10 villagers, he is effectively defeated, at least for the next, little while. And he has to kind of count on his teammates carrying. Now, Yellow is doing a really good job with the Hussars. He's raiding. He's trying to win the game for his teammates. And we see some fortified walls coming up as well. So we're trying to see people, control the game. But of course, fortified walls here from Gray were not in time. Yellow was able to break through, and he's going to punish Gray completely and start pressuring Blue. This is actually a pretty big deal. VP and Enjoyer has to defend this while pushing. It's not easy. And Yellow's doing a great job. He's helping his teammates out here. Gonna clear the trebs, and it's not an easy game at all. Yellow's actually making this very competitive. So props to him. Yellow. Ooh. Guess the PayPal payment came in. Selling some Mangadai out for free like that. And of course, Rathan Archers will destroy Mangadai, by the way. Looking on the right side here on the bottom to Green's push. Green is pushing like an absolute beast, by the way. He's missing Elite Genoese Crossbow. I don't know if he can afford it or not, but definitely should be able to pick that up. And he's knocking down a lot of castles, so Green's push is kind of unstoppable. The funny part is these guys also counter Mongols very well. Italians are a great team game civ. But meanwhile, Yellow's also pushing heavy up top. So you got to hold the push here. If you're VP Enjoyer's team, you have to hold the push up here while maintaining the push down here. And then you have to hope Gray can kind of get back in the game slowly. And same for Teal, because Teal's kind of out of the game a little bit as well. He's okay. He's got Cavalier. But he's not like a late game powerhouse. He's quite low on population, only at 100. And so you really have these different power levels all over the map. VP and Enjoyer now coming to take some space. I love this. This is very good. Just taking some space in the middle. Taking the golden stone. Coming down here with another forward castle to try to take away the space from the opponents and try to control some of those minerals as well. We now see the elephant transition come through as well. Elephants extremely good at pushing back because of, you know, how tanky they are. They're extremely good at pushing as well. So this could be an offensive move. Could also be a defensive move. But of course, elephant archers... Or sorry, not elephants, but elephants with Rathan archers behind them. Very strong combo. However, some imp skirms here from the Spanish player. Which is funny because that's the dead Vietnamese player's contribution to the game. He's given the Spanish player imp skirm upgrade. Which is actually kind of decent. They're going to defend. And the enemy team will hold here a little bit. And of course, the imp skirm is the perfect response to what, you know, blue and green are doing here, because there's Rathan archers, there's Genovese crossbows, but Elite Skirm bodies both of those. So we need the elephants now, and we need them quick. Back over to the top side of the map. Elephants now hitting the field. And VPN Joyous push has been stalled. The castle's been denied. She does have some map control, but overall, she now has to focus 100% to the top of the base, because she has to defend yellow's push. And she's got the elephants, she's got the Rathan archers. Missing the siege, though. Although sometimes the elephants could be siege themselves. They're quite strong against buildings. But not really Vietnamese elephants. They're like more tanky than they are, you know, powerful. But still not too bad. By the way, small thing, but I think they should give elite battle elephants 15 attack. Because it doesn't make sense that an elephant has the same attack as a paladin. Like, I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, personally. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But the unit's already not the strongest unit, like the elephants. I think giving it 15 attack would just make it a bit more formidable and a bit more unique. I think 14 is the number that's already overused a little bit. But either way, the elephants will be taking out the building. Kind of being used as rams right now. And the Rathan archers are fantastic as a backline. We're seeing some kiting going on. The hussars are okay, but Rathan archers will win, you know, in the long term. And down here, how are we dealing with the imp skirms? We are dealing with them using Condottiero. A pretty good transition, but I mean, Condottiero aren't great against imp skirm. Actually, okay, he's missing all the armor upgrades. Green, what the hell are you doing, man? I'm filming a video and he's forgetting all the armor upgrades. Not a single one does he have for those Condottieros. I think if he got all the upgrades, they'd be decent against imp skirms. Like, pretty good. We'll check back with him, but he's getting pushed heavily. So Green, you could cost your team the game here, my friend. I need you to get your head in the game, Green. Because here's the thing. Mike is completely dead for now. He's rebooming. He's at 78 villas, but he's not contributing a whole lot right now. And Heal, only on 140 pop. He's only now getting Paladin. So it's really just 2 players on each team. It's you know, red and yellow versus green and blue, which is really interesting, by the way. That's typically how these Nomad games end up playing out. And I love how this one watchtower is... This one Mike watchtower is just sitting here in the battlefield, and it's got 4 kills. It's not even that bad. Elephants, Rathan archers, the peak Vietnamese composition. Just doing so much work, and now clearly Mongols does not have an answer to this as well. The Mangdai can't kill the elephants faster than the Rathan archers can kill them, and so if they're ever in a position where they have to fight against Rathan archers, they have to run, and so more and more position, more and more ground is being taken by VPN Enjoyer. Which is good for 2 reasons. It's a twofold purpose here. Number one, she gets to obviously, you know, take out yellow and you know, push back and, you know, start pressuring. But also, it buys her teammates time. There's no longer Mangdai running around the bases of teal and gray. And so her teammates have a better chance of getting back in the game now. But red is also trying to fight for this area. It's a very highly contested area. And while Paladin is coming in, red's taking the time to kind of force the engagement before that comes through. Paladin Spike will be very good, though, here. This Paladin will destroy Kipchucks. It's going to be really good against the Spanish villagers. I want to see the Power Spike come through. And, of course, Paladin, one of the coolest units in the game. Just because you rarely see it in, like, 1v1 games, but in team games, it's really good. And, oh, hold on. Now, we're going to pause here. Afro! Guys, what are you doing? What are you doing, my friend? No armor upgrades on the Condottiero. Guys, I realize I've been victim blaming everyone. Like, oh, Green's getting pushed. Oh, I'm going to come cry at the funeral. Hell no. I'm bringing armor upgrades to the funeral because that's what you were missing when you were alive. Right? So, but people are, this is why I'm a psychologist as well. People are quick to put the blame on others because it's just easier to do. And it's harder to look inwards. People do this all the time, by the way. They always project onto others and blame others for their shortcomings, because it's way harder to be like, yo, listen, this is my bad. Yo, instead of saying, what are you guys doing? You should say, sorry, guys, I forgot all the armor upgrades because I did not subscribe to Hera's Patreon, and I can't carry this game. That's what he should say. He should apologize to his team. Instead, he says, yo, guys, what the hell are you doing? Tries to blame his teammates. Green, this will go on YouTube. You will be famous for all the wrong reasons. Afro, what the hell's wrong with you, man? Get your armor upgrades, all right? It's like milk for the bones. It's very good. I'm going to run a commercial on the TV. Get armor upgrades. It's really good. But anyways, all that aside, of course, just a little bit of banter as well. I like to keep these fun and entertaining. But, you know, he's getting the upgrades now, so I'm all for a comeback story. We'll come back and check up on you, Green. But, you know, in this case, VPN Enjoyer, at least he's communicating. I respect that. Better than just resigning and flaming. You know, he's communicating, and he wants to win, which is good. And, of course, what he's counting on now is he's counting on Gray getting back in the game fast. He's counting on maybe Teal sending some help. He could count on VPN Enjoyer, but VPN Enjoyer is actually doing really good up here. So I don't think you want her to, like, send her slow army to the other side of the map. She has to just continue pushing. That's the best thing she can do. And she is doing that. She's going to push up top. She's going to start taking out, you know, some of these Hussars. She's going to take out the castles. And, of course, doing it with only the elephants. I don't know if that's good or not. Like, it's okay in the sense of, like, you don't have to wait for, like, slow siege. So your push is kind of faster. But it also feels like we're kind of losing a lot of our elephants in the process. I don't know, it's difficult, but so far the Rathan archers are getting involved in shooting the castle as well. Maybe a little ambitious. But yeah, maybe a few trebs can go a long way here for VPN Enjoyer, which I think she agrees with. She's bringing in some trebs herself, and she's got elephants absolutely everywhere. But finally, help will come. I am dead. You took so long. He's still blaming. He's still blaming his team. You know, I'm not with that, Green. I'm not with that, but it's okay. Finally, help will come. This is like freaking Rohirrim coming down here. Just a lot of army coming through from both sides. But unfortunately, I mean, to Green's point, it is a little late because now Green has lost his entire army. So it is kind of a little late. Now Teal has to fight by himself. Normally you want to coordinate, so you come and you fight together. Also, Green, you could delete these walls. Okay, he's going to do it. That's good. So, you know, hopefully Teal can be able to fight that correctly. It looks like, you know, Teal will clear this up. Meanwhile, Gray is getting fully back in the game. Yeah, Gray now has some castles. He's got tons of space to expand to. Still plenty of golden stone on the bottom of the map, which I think is why people love Nomad. People love Nomad because there's so many minerals to expand to. And this is something that I think people find extremely cool. And one thing I do want to talk to as well, I got like a severe lack of team game content on my channel. So I really do hope if you guys like team games, so you have friends that like team games, recommend them this video. If people like this kind of stuff, I'll review team games not much more often, but semi-frequently on the channel. Maybe like once a month I'll have a team game that you guys can enjoy, and I'll cast it just like this one. And of course it could be a mix of yellows, because personally I don't even like high yellow team games too much. I prefer like the mid yellow ones where like people know what they're doing, but they're not tryhards, you know what I mean? Like, I want the enemy to forget armor upgrades and blame his team. Like, I want that to happen every now and then. I don't want to be playing against players that are playing perfectly. Tower's still up, by the way. Tower check. It's got 5 kills. And now we have Elite Step Lancer coming in from Mongols. Mongols, are you kidding me? We gave this guy an hour and 3 minutes to get to Mangadai, and he comes out with Elite Step Lancers? Brother. That's like... Yeah, that's extremely underwhelming, because I feel like the Step Lancers are not even that great against what's on the field. And I mean, I guess you could say that he just doesn't want to die to Imp Scrims as well, but Mangadai are just 100% the best unit he can go for right now. Fair enough, though, I don't want to judge too harshly. Step Lancers are still decent. You know, it's not a bad unit. He's going to be getting into the game. Let's get a purple check-in. Purple, my friend. 43 vills. Ah, it's not good. Purple's still so dead. At least he's trying, though. I respect the fact that Purple hasn't resigned. And honestly... Okay, he's another TC here. This area will get pushed for sure now because Purple has a town center. Every time Purple has a town center in place, it gets pushed. VPN Enjoyer is now pushing in the middle of the map. She's also up top. She's in multiple areas. And, well, it's going to get difficult because now Gray has Elite Mangadai coming in. Okay, that's really good. I like that. So he went Elite Step Lancers. Did he even make a single Step Lancer? Guys, he didn't make a single Step Lancer. He just got the upgrade for fun. Okay. Alright, that's not bad. Sometimes I like to just burn cash as well. That's fine, no problem. Yeah, no, I was burning $500 outside earlier today. I love doing it. It's my spare time activity, in fact. But of course, you know, in all seriousness, he might just have thought about Step Lancer and changed his mind, which, you know, is fair enough. But my goodness, Red is actually playing amazing. He's got Imp Skirms, he's got Halb, he's got Conks, he's got Siege Ram. He's really doing a good job here. It's not easy to push into this composition. Blue is now bringing her full composition down here. But of course, I do want to take a look at this. If she stops pressuring here, which she has, she can now help here. But as soon as she helps here, we'll watch the fight and then I'll finish my point. Elephants get melted by the Halbs, but once the Halbs are done, the Elephants will carry. The Siege Ram will die, so this is, of course, going to be a positive trade for VPN Enjoyer and company. But of course, when she's fighting down here, now all of a sudden, Yellow feels emboldened again and starts attacking. So that's a tricky position. Because her teammates need help, she has to come down here. She has to slow down her push, come down here. But that's a net negative for the team. You want VP and George to just push up here. You want her to take out this corner. You want her to just, freely take out Yellow. But if she does that, then her teammates could die, and that could be bad. So ideally, her teammates hold and she pushes, but she kind of concedes the push to help her allies, which is, I guess, the safe play. Not the play I would make. I don't care about my teammates. I just go for the push normally. I send them resources, I send them resources. Good luck, guys. But no, sometimes you do have to come down and help. And, fair enough. She's going to start, a little push down here in the center, which is arguably more important anyways. But of course, when she does that, now the Mangudai raids will be extremely annoying in her base. Take a look at the bottom of the map, though. Looks like Green is rebuilding. He took a big blow, but finally got his armor upgrade, so Condottieros will be, somewhat useful. Gray is now fully set up with the map. They could even start trading here as well, by the way, from this side to this side, which is something the enemy could do as well. The enemy team could also be trading if they want to. Multiple trades right here in the center of the map. And by the way, I could fast forward this late game and kind of skip, 10 or 20 minutes of it. But I've decided not to do that because I want the full experience to go to YouTube. And you guys can just, fast forward on the video if it's, too much of a drag for you guys. But I think a lot of people would be interested in the entire story. I don't want to skip any parts of the story when recording, a game or reviewing a game. But do let me know some feedback there if you want me to skip some boring parts or maybe some long parts. I wouldn't mind. Alright, the Mangudai will get cleared up by the elephants. Still tons of Hussar raids, and this is where you're really grateful to have the castles back here. And by the way, triangles are really strong shapes in life, but in Age of Empires 2 as well. Because when you have a triangle of castles, it beats a line. A line is bad, because a line, as soon as they pass the line, there's nothing. But a triangle, there's two castles, they run in, they take damage, and then they get to the back, and there's another castle. So the triangle covers a lot more ground than a line. And it's just something you have to keep in mind. Always castle and triangles in your base. It's very important. That's why town centers as well in a triangle. The best you can have is a triangle of town centers inverted with a triangle of castles. So that gives you the best coverage. And it's what we have at the back of VPN Enjoyer's base here. This is something I want to comment on. Because it's not something that anyone talks about ever. So, if you didn't know that, now you know. Which is kind of cool. Good to know stuff. Mangudai now fully back to the game. This is exactly what we wanted from Mike. He's pushing in. He's got Mangudai, he's got Hussars. And truly the grit of the players on both teams really has been solid. Like, people died and came back. Purple died and died again and died again. But he's coming back. He's on the way up. He's like the guy that graduates high school at like 35. It's like, he was a crackhead for 20 years, but you gotta respect him for eventually going back and finishing high school. Like, it is a net win. So, props to him. He's getting back in the game, and like I said, he made a town center here, so this area will get pushed now. Another castle coming forward from blue. VPN Jura, of course, wants to hold down the center of the map, and at this point, I don't even know how she's affording castles. She's got a castle here and a castle here. It's like 2 projects. Really don't know where she's getting the stone from. I guess that just shows how much stone she gathered from her side of things. She's also got tons and tons of res. And okay, listen, I gotta criticize this. Hold on, let me just see if I can get back to it. I gotta criticize this. VPN Jura, she's got 3,000 food. Meanwhile, Teal is starving. Send him some food. If she can send him like 2,000 food, 2,000 wood, Teal will be in a much better position to defend and to stabilize. But right now he's got little population. But I think I think VPN Enjoyer likes to kind of keep matters into her own hands. He likes to kind of make sure that she's always able to play at 200 pop. So, you know, fair enough, but sometimes you got to help a brother out a little bit. Red only has 2 relics here, not the end of the world. And I gotta say, Red has been the MVP of his team. And just take a look at the situation. Like, Blue is now the hard carry in late game. And this could have easily ended with her being defeated at minute 20, right? This is why this game is the transport ship masterpiece. It put her in a position to hard carry the game in late game. And if she had not transported, she would have been the liability of the team. She would have been the purple of the team, which is the highest form of insult I can possibly give. And yeah, it's just great. It just shows that sometimes if you're in a bad position, you could use some creativity to get out of it, which is really cool. Alright, meanwhile, it's more of the same, guys. It's yellow fighting up here, and we have green and gray pushing down here. But this time it's a little different. It's not like it's the same thing that we're seeing the entire time. This time it's a little different. We now have imp skirms from the Spanish player. And we now have a fully functioning green and fully functioning gray. So VPN Enjoyer's team has actually more population. They've got 200 more population than the enemy players. And that's going to really help over time. All right, over the next, let's say, 30 seconds to 5 minutes, you're going to feel this population quite heavily in fights and resources and, you know, and setting up trade, which I think is starting to be talked about. I see some whispers of trade. Yeah, looks like gray has some trade going on, which is good. But yellow's been doing great. He's been raiding a ton. VPN Enjoyer has been doing a great job of matching the raids, by the way. She's been getting raided all day, basically. And she's like the only person with castles that back here. You got 1 castle from Teal, and that's pretty much it. And maybe 1 more from Gray. But the rest has been VPN Enjoyer with castles. So props to her for that solid defense, helping out her team as well, which is really good. Alright, meanwhile, we got the elephants coming through. Tons and tons of elephants still flooding in. This composition has been pretty much Exodia the entire game. No one's been able to fight this composition. The only downside to this composition is that it's slow moving. Alright. That's the only thing that is preventing this composition from just rolling through everything. It's just the fact that if you're in one area, you're not in the other. And as you can see, she's fighting here, but she's also defending up here. Like, it's just tons of raids constantly going in. And really what Gray wants to do is come here and finish these walls. That would be very helpful. But of course, that was a project that has been long abandoned from Gray. Gray is more focused down here. Bringing in the siege rams, bringing in the Mangadai. But this army is really strong now. It's insanely strong. Got tons of Mangadai, elephants, imp skirms now mixed in with Genovese crossbow, which is a very good combo, by the way. And tons of trebs from the Italian player. You got some conks on the field, but the conks are getting hard counted by most things that Green is making right now. Drill now coming in for the Mongol player. Really good. Oh, yellow Mangadai going in. Yellow, yellow. Oh, he's just selling Mangadai on repeat. Poor guy just hasn't really been able to do anything with the Mangadai in terms of fighting. Can only raid. And I feel like right now it's kind of game over. VPN Enjoyer has defended the top side successfully. We now have the walls coming through from Teal, which is really good, by the way. It's going to help out a ton. And the push down here has been successful now, finally, after tons of back and forth. Oh, the conks are trapped. You got imp skirms here. He's trying to run away. Trap him, trap him, trap him. There we go. Attaboy, Green. Nice. We're ending with a Green montage. I like that. I was a bit harsh on you, Green, earlier, but I have to say I respect you staying in the game, and you're kind of second of your team MVP, so respect. And at some points, you were the first MVP. You know, you were the guy that started off the push down here, so props to you, Green. I feel like me and Green have gone through a lot of emotions together. I really feel strongly connected to Green after this game. But, you know, he had his bad moments as well. I hope he can learn from that. He can grow from that experience as well. Rathan Archers, Elephants, Mangadai pushing in. It's now just a desperate hold. Purple is back in the game. Purple's got Imp he's got Halbs. Bless his heart, he's back in the game. I was thinking, like, Purple, what is this, the referee? I haven't seen this guy all game. No, he's part of the team. And he's making some units, and, well, they're kind of dying, but... God, it's been such a depressing game for Purple. He's finally back in the game. Now he's completely dead again. He's holding on to this castle. But, I mean, there's a lot of trebuchets. This has been one huge disaster for Purple. And it just, again, it shows the contrast. This could have been VPN Enjoyer had she not transported. And we'll talk about that in a second. But first, we gotta say the GG is being dropped. Yellow taps out. Purple taps out. He's been waiting to tap out. And now we're just waiting for Orange, who was fish trapping here, by the way, which is kind of cool. And actually, Mike, you could have killed all of this, by the way. Mike, get your head in the game, Mike. Of course, you completely forgot about these water units a long time ago. What's funny is that they're taking up 3 population spaces for no reason. So yeah, you have to remember to like delete your... Yeah, this is something you wouldn't see in a pro game. Like you have to delete your water units. Not Purple, because that's of course all he had at some point. But other players should delete... Yeah, VPN Enjoyer, you gotta delete your transport. Actually, no. Keep the transports. That's how she's remembering her roots. That's how we got here to begin with. All of this empire built from this one transport ship. Salute to the transport ship. Don't delete it. That's a good play. Keep it alive. Honor and respect. And remembering your roots is worth a lot more than 1 population space in late game. And yeah, not much else to say really. We're just gonna wait till Orange and Red resign. Maybe they're just processing the game. Of course, Red had a great game. It sucks to see that your village is getting stampeded now by elephants, by siege ram. But hey, that's the way life goes. Sometimes you are at the height of the empire. You thought you could do no wrong. You were kind of commanding people left and right, and looks like we've encountered an unexpected error. Nothing like a fantastic replay being ruined by Capture Age crashing. So let's see if I can reboot it real quick. If not, we're going to end the video without Capture Age. I'm just sitting here in a dark room. Typical. Very typical. Let's see if I can, boot back in. I don't know if we will be able to. Oh, okay. We are. Wow, okay. Fair enough. Little glitch there, but not the end of the world. We'll just kind of fast forward here. I do want to see the end of the game, because I do want to talk about it a little bit more. And I realize this is turning into a long video, but yeah, we see the GG finally being dropped, crashed like 10 seconds before the end of the game, which is hilarious. But yeah, GG's called. Very fun game. And I just do want to recap something. I want to really paint this picture here. Blue, full carry here in late game. All right, she was the MVP of her team by far. In the end, she bought a lot of time for her teammates. She defended against the raids. She pushed the top. She pushed the middle. She had the late game carry. And it was all made possible by this guy right here. This one transport. Let's take a look at the base of Blue, of VPN Enjoyer. This is where she started. I believe that was the initial castle. And that was a secondary castle. And the lumber camp was right here. This is where she started. It's now, of course, no whisper of Blue here. Can we find any hint that Blue was here? None whatsoever. Not a house. Not a peasant. Not a freaking whisper of the old souls that labored on the lumber camp. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. It's all been moved. It's been transferred to the other side. And I just want to showcase this game because I found it absolutely brilliant to see a transport ship take you from being completely defeated to being the carry of the game. I thought that was really cool. I hope you guys also find it really cool. And hey, it's another excuse to get VPN Enjoyer on the channel. I know she's a fan favorite, so might as well do that as well. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I realize this was a longer video, but again, do let me know if you guys like this format. I'll do more of it. I think it's really cool. A bit more of like a storytelling, rec review or replay than a coaching one. I think that's, it's nice for a change. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed my comments. If you guys did, let me know in the comments below. And of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, check out my Patreon if you want to support me further and get access to exclusive guides and content. And so you don't forget upgrades and playing your team like Green did. Green, I'm not going to forget that. Take care, Afro. And take care, everybody. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.